Hello everyone, it's Annie, and today I'm here to talk to you about my most favorite authors. Now, the title is a little bit clickbait because I tend to almost never auto-buy authors. Like, I just buy books either when I feel like it or mostly after I've already read them from the library. So these are my most favorite authors. Most of them are auto-buys, to be honest, but we have some runners-up as well towards the end. So let me show you. So first we have Ann Leckie, who I have talked about quite a lot on my channel. She is the author of the Imperial Rutsch series, also known as Ancillary Justice. And this is a trilogy, a sci-fi trilogy that kind of really started my obsession with sci-fi novels, space operas, and just reading in general. I remember reading Ancillary Justice when it came out in 2013, I believe, and just absolutely fell in love with it. Ann Leckie is a genius. She builds such believable and lush worlds that feel so alien as well. Like she is just a genius. She also incorporates tea into this universe, and I love tea, and that really kind of sold me on it. Her character work is also phenomenal. The main character of this series, named Breck, is just such a great character. I love her. And then we have the two other books that Ann Leckie has released. These are both standalones. Provenance is another sci-fi, and The Raven Tower is a fantasy. This book is great, has trans rep, and it is so good. It's another example of Ann Leckie's just impeccable world building and genius. The one thing I will say is that she might be a little hard to get into because she just kind of drops you in there. She does not give you any explanation, and that's what I prefer with my secondary world set novels. I really like to just be kind of dropped in there and kind of learn to live in the world along with the characters. I don't want to be explained how the world is different from Earth or our world. I want to just live it, and Ann Leckie does that so well. She is a queen. And the next author is Nnedi Okorafor, who I absolutely love. She's another sci-fi author who writes African futurism, and I have the Binti trilogy by her and Remote Control, which is a recent novella. She has written so many other books though. The Akata Witch series, which I have not read, another novella called Noor, which I have read and really liked. These are my favorites of hers so far, although I am planning on getting through her whole backlist eventually, because she's just another genius. We're filled with geniuses here. Binti was amazing. It won the Hugo and Nebula Awards in 2015. It follows Binti, who is a young Himba girl who is going to attend the prestigious UMZA University for math. Her talent for math and her aptitude for astrolabes make her a prime candidate to undertake this interstellar journey to this really prestigious university. And she is the first Himba girl who is going to attend this university. And just the amount of creativity in Nnedi Okorafor's books is just amazing. I mean, even Ursula K. Le Guin says, like, there's more vivid imagination in a page of Nnedi Okorafor's work than in whole volumes of ordinary fantasy epics, which is just true. It's true. I just love her, and she is an author that you should not miss. And then we have Becky Chambers. From her, I have A Psalm for the Wild Build, and I've pre-ordered the sequel to this. And I have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is the first book in her series. Now, I have not gotten around to reading this yet, but I know I will love it. I have read this, and I've also read the To Be Taught If Fortunate novella, which I am trying to get my hands on a hardcover copy because I just love this orange cover. So I'm going to hold up this book. Becky Chambers is a master at cozy sci-fi. Sci-fi with still really interesting, like, scientific stuff going on, spacefaring adventures, technology and things like that we all know and love in all sci-fi books. But Becky Chambers just has a way of building characters and relationships and worlds that feel cozy and uplifting and heartwarming and hopeful. Like, for example, A Psalm for the Wild-Built is kind of a solar punk novella, and it has a very, very hopeful tone to it, and the relationship between the robot and the tea monk is just so, so cute. And her books are also all, as far as I know, queer normative. So there is a non-binary protagonist in this book. To Be Taught If Fortunate has poly relationships, and this, I believe, is a sapphic book with a sapphic protagonist. So I just absolutely love Becky Chambers. Her writing is also top-notch, so I will absolutely be picking up everything that she writes. And then we have my favorite books of all time, A Memory Called Empire and Desolation Called Peace by Arkady Martine. If you have been watching my channel since last year, you know that I absolutely fell in love with this book when I read it last June. I love it so much. It is everything that I could want in a sci-fi book. It is a space opera, and it's sapphic, and it has amazing world building with just these little nuggets of historical information and things like that that just, oh, it's so good. The culture of Teixcalan, which is the main empire in this series, is just so well built. I love it. Arkady Martine is actually, she has a PhD, I think, in like Byzantine history, and that is what the Teixcalan Empire is based off of. I love it. There is so many interesting things in this book. I obviously love the main sapphic relationship and the main ambassador, but it's also really exciting. I know some people don't like books that are heavy on world building because they can tend to be a little dry if you don't like that, which I do, but that's fine. But this book is also really, really exciting because it has a central murder mystery to it, has awesome sci-fi technology. There's like an implant in the main character's brain. It's just amazing. So Arkady Martine has only come out with these two books so far, but this was the winner of the Hugo Award in 2020. So yeah, she's amazing. She's going to come out with more books, and I will definitely be picking them up because she is just such an amazing writer. I remember listening to these both on audio, and I usually listen at like at least 1.5 speed, but this I listened to at regular speed, not sped up at all, because I just didn't want it to end. I felt such a connection to this book. If you want to know me better, definitely pick up this book because this is really very close to my heart. And then we have an author that I don't actually own any of her books yet, which is very upsetting to me, but I will be looking to buy them. She is June Hurd. She wrote The Silence of Bones, The Forest of Stolen Girls, and The Red Palace most recently, and I know she is working on a fourth book. So June Hurd's kind of modus operandi is that she writes Korean historical fiction, which is just so great. It's like watching a historical K-drama, except in book form, with amazing writing and amazing storytelling. And she also always includes a really, really strong female protagonist in her books. I just absolutely love them. My favorite of these three is The Forest of Stolen Girls. I love it. The mystery aspects of these books are also really well crafted. I'm not a huge mystery reader, although I do really like it. And I do enjoy like true crime podcasts and stuff like that, so I like mystery and thrillers, but I find it hard to find ones that actually keep me engaged in the central mystery, and June Hurd definitely does that. She is such a great author, and I can't wait to find out what else she's going to write. And then we have another sci-fi space opera writer who is Yoon-Ha Lee. From him, I have The Dragon Pearl, which is a middle grade release from Rick Riordan Presents, and I also have Phoenix Extravagant, which is a standalone kind of science fantasy. It looks amazing. I have not gotten the chance to pick this up yet, but I will very, very soon because it just sounds fascinating. There are dragons, mechas. It's kind of based on the Japanese occupation of Korea, and I love it. I've also read the first book in his Machineries of Empire trilogy, which is Nine Fox Gambit, and I really, really enjoyed it. I have not continued the series yet. Yoon-ha Lee is a genius. I know I keep saying that, but I also read the sequel to Dragon Pearl and it was fine, but Dragon Pearl itself is just so amazing. Yoon-ha Lee includes a lot of queer rep in his sci-fi books, especially including a lot of non-binary representation, because Yoon-ha Lee is a trans man, and I just absolutely love how he weaves queer identities into his works. I love his middle grade, but his adult is also amazing. There is a lot of math in the Machineries of Empire series, which is why I haven't continued it yet, because it was a little hard for me to get, but the actual plot of it was so interesting, and the world building again was so creative. They use a really unique calendar system and different bases of numbers. Like we use, what do we use? Base 10 or something? I forget. But some cultures use base 6, base whatever, base 8. So it's super, super interesting. I just love it. I love the main character, and she also has something going on where she has like the ghost of someone implanted in her brain, kind of like what happens in A Memory Called Empire. Yoon-ha Lee is really, really an author that I always get super excited when I find out that he's writing another book. So yeah, I will read anything he writes, and I can't wait to get to this as soon as possible. And then we have Lian Yang, who wrote the Tensort series, The Black Tides of Heaven, The Red Threads of Fortune, The Descent of Monsters, and The Ascent to Godhood. I really, really loved this novella series so much. When I read the first one, The Black Tides of Heaven, I remember just being mind blown. It is a silk punk fantasy with one of the most unique magic systems I've ever read in my life. I can't get over it. I really do think that Lian Yang is a genius. Lian Yang is non-binary, and they also include a non-binary protagonist. And the magic system that is so unique is called the Slack, and they kind of like pull the strings of the universe to influence things happening, and oh, it's so good. It also centers on twins, like a set of twins, and I really like books like that for some reason. That just always gets me. So I just love this series so much. There's a lot of political intrigue. Very, very cool. They are coming out with a book called The Genesis of Misery that I am super excited about. I will be talking about it in my most anticipated releases for July, August, and September video, but this just sounds amazing. It is a space opera based off of Joan of Arc. Yes, and the main character is non-binary, which, yes please. Lian Yang is just a genius, so creative, and they have a backlist, but I have not gotten my hands on any of them, but I will hopefully do so soon. And then we have one kind of runner-up or honorable mention, which is Niveau, because I absolutely loved her Empress of Salt and Fortune and When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain novellas, and I'm definitely going to read the third one in this novella series as well, Into the Riverlands, I think it's called. I just absolutely love this. It has a non-binary protagonist at its center, and this cleric named Chi goes around and collects stories from around this land that they live in, and these two are both sapphic. I'm really hoping the third one is too. The only reason she is an honorable mention is because I thought her Gatsby retelling, The Chosen and the Beautiful, was just okay. It was not my cup of tea, personally. I can see why some people would really like it, but it was not for me. I know she's coming out with a new book, I think called The Siren Queen, or maybe it has already came out recently. I have not picked it up yet if that's the case, but I will be reading it because I loved these novellas so much. But yeah, we will see what else she writes. I really like her fantasy stuff. Maybe that's the reason. I really like her second world fantasy, but I don't really like her primary world fantasy that's set in our world with like a little bit of magic thrown in. So we'll see what she writes next. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all of my most favorite authors. Let me know down in the comments below who your favorite author is and why. And if you liked this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye!